No, that's fine because I gotta look up the page.
Platoon. Wall Street. Born on the 4th of July. JFK. Oliver Stone's vision has changed the way we saw our past. Now he takes a look at where we are and where we're going. And you'll be shocked at what he sees. Mickey and Mallory. Feared by thousands.
I love you so much, baby.
I love you.
Watched by millions.
We're fading. Can't stop fading. Nobody can. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone or something.
Woody Harrelson, Juliette Lewis, Robert Downey Jr., and Tommy Lee Jones.
What do you have to say to your fans?
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Natural-born killers. In the media circus of life, they were the main attraction.
Hello and welcome to Neato Kino Movie Club, the episode numero ocho.
Yes, you got it.
I forgot what number we were on. So today we are talking Natural Born Killers, and I am here with Marcelo Crow.
Hey guys, what is going on? I am always here and always glad to be here. I really am grateful we always do this. And I'm so happy to be discussing this movie because I actually saw it for the first time last year. So I can't wait to really discuss that.
Awesome. So we'll just jump into it then. So
Okay.
Natural Born Killers is one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. I actually, like, when I was rewatching it last night, I said to my husband, I think this is a near perfect film.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
to me, like in my aesthetic, my desire for the way a movie works and is presented and everything. So yes, near perfection.
Okay, wow. Not that like I'm surprised by that because it is a really good movie, and I was talking to you before we started the stream and how I personally think that the trailer is a little misleading. And just to clarify, I think the tone is misleading because when I first saw this, like I knew bits and pieces, but I didn't expect it to be so like darkly comedic, which is what I really dug about the movie more than anything. And again, there's a lot of there's so much to dissect here.
So about the trailer
Yeah.
being misleading, I'm pretty sure it's intentional
Of course, of course.
because of the whole commentary of media exploitation of violence and violent offenders and etc.
I agree. No, it does feel like it's the trailer for who's it? Wayne, Robert Downey Jr.'s character.
Yeah.
Wayne, is it Wayne Gale?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It feels
Last
like
name.
a trailer that his people would make for something like this. Like how they were doing that American Maniacs later, and they were interviewing Mickey.
Yes.
It felt just like that.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure the trailer is the movie that everyone assumed the movie is or talks about the movie being without fully understanding it.
Sorry, I am cutting in and out because I forgot to spread this out on my Facebook and that, so I apologize. I am running behind today.
I am too. I was taking a nap, so it's totally fine. Like, I woke up at 5:45. My husband came in and was like, "Hey, are you up?" And I was like, "Yeah." Sure.
Would you have slept just right through?
Yep.
Oh boy.
I actually had an alarm set, and yeah, I just went back to sleep. I was like, screw this, I'm tired. But I'm here now. It's fine.
Okay. So hey, I know our format's changed a bit from what you've originally had it as, but are there any questions that you've had that you want to bring up still to ask, or
I
did you
have
even think of that?
topics I want to discuss,
Okay.
but I don't really. Let's see. I put in our Discord.
Yeah, I have it right here. You have the
Yeah.
media, ultraviolence, compassion, idealized romance, the American persona, and ego.
Yes, and then
And freedom.
for us in particular, this is not really about reviewing movies.
Of
We
course.
are supposed to just analyze, especially in relation to society
Yeah.
and the impact of the movies on our personal stories.
Yeah. So are we just gonna take it topic by topic then? Just like start from where you had it first to go down the list?
We're just kind of seeing where things go, I guess.
Okay.
Well, we already started about talking about the exploitation of violent offenders by the media.
Oh yeah.
We can start going with that.
No, I mean I agree with you completely, and it's not even like even if they're not alive, because one of the greatest blunders in live TV history was when they found Al Capone's vault, and they had like a 2-hour special thinking about what it could be, and then Geraldo opened the vault and there was nothing. And it's sometimes it's not even about like them itself. I think it's like people are in, I don't want to say like in awe, but they have this there's this aura, I think, that comes off of those people that have that much power, and those that are very subjective to a lot of things, I think, lean in towards that, and it gets a little muddled in where the line is between a celebrity versus a subject, I believe.
Hmm. So, do you think that the media, or even the audience of the media, kind of blows things out of proportion and like puts things in the wrong perspective? Because I don't know, my brain. I can't figure out how to put that into words.
I think to some extent, for sure, we blow things out of perception, but it, again, in a weird way. I know subjects like, say, serial killer, or just kind of any sort of person who has had that much. Again, power is the only word that comes to mind, but there probably is a better word that I could think of. But that has led to inspiring a lot of our own genre that we love, horror.
Yeah.
I mean, Ed Gein to Leatherface, Gacy to, God, I'm trying to think. Other people, I'm sure.
Bundy.
Ted Bundy, yeah. And they're still to such a point to where they're even still making money off of it today. But if we fast forward, I think like 100 years, they're going to be nothing more than tall tales like we grew up with like John Henry, Paul Bunyan, stuff like that, I think.
I don't think they'll be like tall tales, but I mean,
I could see that because they're already fictionalizing the way how everything like was in the stories, because there was the Zac Efron movie where it tried to humanize Ted Bundy, and I get that it had a point. Yeah. I didn't see it, but also there was a movie about Manson, and it was the Oh
Yeah.
God, Sharon Tate. And the thing was about it was they were trying to, the movie was trying to say that it wasn't Manson, but it was supernatural, if I recall, or something like that.
Oh
Like it,
yeah.
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 So
Like,
I think we're already in the middle of that, but I think down the line it would be, kind of like a Charles Manson could now be some sort of Baba Yaga or La Llorona, something like that.
I don't think so though, because I think it's more like we're maybe not. I know, like we are fictionalizing it and making kind of folk tales out of the people, but it's not like. I think we're just trying to figure out why, because we don't real. Many of us don't really relate, and we're like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I could see that.
So
I know for
I think telling stories is generally like the purpose of it is really to figure out why things are the way they are, why people are the way they are.
some stories I agree.
Especially folk tales. Like that's really how like folk tales and fairy tales and stuff. Like it's all
Yeah.
about trying to figure out the way the world works.
But again, I think that there is that point to where it's been dissected enough, but yet it's the whole beating a dead horse theory of how can we keep doing this to make money off of it, and then it
Yeah.
loses all the focus that we've had initially in the first place of why.
Well, for sure. Like because well, that's the entire point of the movie. I didn't mean to say it like that, but like it we are like taking those stories and running with them to make money and yeah.
Oh yeah, no, completely agree.
Yeah.
Do you think that we let me ask you, do you think that we build people enough, like that we put them on such a pedestal that allows them to further act how they do, or
Oh dear God. I knew this question was gonna come up.
well, there you go.
I'm like, that's a really hard question to even answer. Is like, because personally, okay, I'm gonna get into some stuff and it's gonna be a little weird. So nobody run away from me ever.
That's
Maybe a little bit, depending on who you are.
that's fine. I'll bring up some stuff too because this movie unlocked things that I kind of remember. So go ahead.
Okay, so I watch a lot of media and entertainment with characters like these that are like super violent and murderous and whatnot and go on rampages and all kinds of stuff. And to me, like in a way, and this what I'm saying is going to cover like literally every topic I want to talk about tonight.
Okay.
But it's like
It's a good movie.
yes, but it's like it's when I watch that violence and stuff, it's very freeing. Like for me.
Yeah.
And not necessarily that I want to do that, but like the freedom that the characters are expressing and feeling, like I want that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to kill people.
Gotcha.
And then so like when we talk about the media, like basically promoting them and making celebrities out of them, it kind of makes me feel like I don't know. It builds them up to feel like they have more power, I guess. Yeah. And they feel like they are free and that they are beyond everything, and then they're like godlike or whatever. And so like it's just like a self-perpetuating circle kind of thing.
Of course.
It's like we just keep like feeding into it, like the audience, which would be me, like seeing people being more free or whatever and like being able to do whatever they want without consequence. And then the media taking that feeling that I'm paying money for, and then the people who do it to get inspired. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like,
No,
I know I'm kind of talking in circles right now because I can't wrap my brain around exactly what I'm saying. But
I gotcha. Can I
I
ask
also don't
though?
want to accidentally say that I want to kill people.
I want to kill people. So,
No.
do you think there is a like? I know you said that it's freeing to see that.
Yeah.
Do you have like, say, do you think that you like the idea that they're more free, or that they've built up enough confidence to work past any sort of like trauma or push that point of, say, that holds you back?
Ah, fair point. Maybe it's the confidence that I admire.
Yeah.
Like that is a huge thing. Yeah, it's very possible.
Yeah.
Like
I
they just don't
mean,
care anymore. I think a lot of it is they don't care anymore. And like
yeah.
I have spent so much of my life like being an empath and being compassionate and all of this stuff. And like I like it gets to the point where like I just keep getting hurt because I am kind. And I'm always like I just don't want to care anymore.
Yeah. I get that. I actually was just watching you ever see Avatar: Last Airbender?
Yeah, I watched the series a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Okay. There was literally just an episode that was like this, where it was just he lost somebody who's been with him for most of the show, and it showed the difference between caring too much from one character's point of view versus not caring at all. And it's trying to find that sort of middle ground, because obviously those both extremes just don't there's no clear answer within those two. You need people, but you don't need them enough to rely on them for your own, you know, like codependence, or say
Mhm.
enough to where they're your identity.
Right. Ah, speaking of which, Mickey and Mallory don't really exist outside of each other
Oh yeah, that's a good
in
point.
a way. Because, like, while they're still dangerous on their own, they're only talked about as a unit. And they even mention, like, later in the jail, where's the other half?
What do you weren't they playing up Mickey a little more on the media?
Oh, for sure. But, like, I mean, I feel like okay, there's a lot to this, but
Yeah,
like that, all of that was very, I feel like part of that was sexism and
yeah,
stuff. Like all of that, like part was like, men are the more dangerous, whatever. And then, Mallory being, hit on and stuff by the guy in her cell. Like
yeah.
it's so sexist. Like you just think that you can do whatever because she's a woman,
Oh yeah, that's the one thing about this film was
regardless of
just
her being a killer. And yeah,
yeah. Outside of Mallory, it's just like all of the women in this movie were either like they were an object, or they were just not even cared about, because it's like a very heavily like masculine dominated movie. And then
yeah,
like Mallory right off the bat just kicks that dude's ass, which was awesome.
exactly. And I think like partially because of Mallory's character, that's why I do not think that this is a sexist film at all. I think it's probably like borderline feminist.
Oh yeah, no, I would agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
Because they could have more than anything, they could have made I would say that it kind of turns that way a little bit at the end, only because like Mickey ends up saving her in some way, but
Yeah.
because when they're in the cell and Scagnetti has the if Mickey didn't come in, then Scagnetti probably would have had his way with Mallory.
Yeah, it's possible. But at the same time, like, I don't feel like that was really. I feel like that could work, just
Yeah.
because, like, in my own relationship, I feel like we are just so tied together. It's like
Yeah.
one of us is going to go after and help the other one,
Of
regardless.
course.
And
And
yeah.
that's what I like salute this movie for too, was just that they could hold their own against people. I brought up the whole Mallory scene within the first couple minutes because in any other movie, it would be she hits the dude once or twice, gets a couple swings in, but then the guy overpowers her, and then Mickey would come in and help him out. Whereas this one, she just lets loose on this fucking guy and stomps on him on his face like what is it? Is it Don't Be a Menace? I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they're jumping on this one guy's face, and then it's like a claymation thing when they look down, just because they were stomping all over it. That's kind of how it felt. It was awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So talking about them as a couple.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Personal story time.
Okay.
So my husband, when we were dating, he actually introduced me to this movie because it was his absolute favorite movie, and I had never seen it, and so we watched it, and I loved it. And then also, like, some people have songs, we have a movie, and this is our movie, and which I know is kind of weird, but like I feel like the romance and relationship between Mickey and Mallory is kind of like ours. Like, we are two against the world, basically.
You've killed people?
Well, we haven't killed people.
Yeah.
And we've not really gotten into violent fights.
Gotcha. Have you killed Indians yet?
Definitely not.
Oh, okay.
Out of all the questions. But no, it's like, so in a way, like, we kind of idolize the characters as their relationship, as their couple. It's also kind of like the whole Harley Quinn and Joker thing that was always so big. But like, I don't have a problem with that. I know it's weird, and I know it's like against the grain because they are mass murderers, and
I'm actually okay when it comes to understanding the idolization of these two, because I don't really have much experience with relationships, but just kind of in a general sense from what I have had with relationships, it's always been that trying to find a middle ground with kind of everything in life while still giving a piece of yourself and not trying to think of how to put it. But again, like I had said earlier, not having that be your identity is that other person, which is a tough thing because it's part of being human. But I can understand the idolization of them in a sense. The one that I don't get is Joker and Harley Quinn, because he manipulated her throughout every single thing.
Yeah, I think that is mostly just marketing.
Yeah.
Because they're just always like marketed together.
Yeah.
Or at least they were. I don't know if they still are anymore.
And also too, in this one, it's again, in some weird way, it is a love story.
It really is.
Yeah.
It totally is.
The only time that he actually showed any violence to her was when they were in the hotel room that I remember from the top of my head. And then it's because he was trying to get a three-way with the girl that they had tied up.
Yep.
And then he ended up raping her. So good old wholesome movie.
Did he though?
Yeah.
Did they show that?
Yeah. Do you not? Okay, I saw the director's cut, so
I watched the director's cut. I don't.
Yeah, there's literally like a brief scene where she's just it's her hogtied and she has no underwear on, and Woody Harrelson is just like this, and they're both standing.
So I've seen this movie like dozens of times. Every time I watch it, I see something totally different.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I do not deny that scene happens.
Yeah.
In my most recent viewing of it, I don't recall watching that part, but I was also.
In fairness, too, it is just a brief moment. It's not something that's so, like, it's 3 minutes, or it's like fucking Irreversible, where it's 12 minutes. My God.
Also, I love that movie.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I just remember that scene just, man.
Yeah.
You know, there are times when it's, I get it for story's sake. I mean, one of the stories I wrote has that, but it's like, there's no reason for 12 minutes.
Right.
There just isn't.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to discuss that another time. But
we're gonna have top 10 rape scenes, everybody. It's Cannibal Holocaust. Irreversible.
Oh dear God.
There has to be a list on YouTube somebody's done.
Not by anyone I would watch.
Oh, right here, PewDiePie.
Now I want to talk about this because it's like, okay, so what makes us able to say like we can have top 10 kills, or whatever, in like horror movies or whatever, and yet we don't want to watch. We don't want to watch a video about top 10 rape scenes.
Again, I think it's the line we were talking about. I think it's a personal line that we have of things in the sand. Huh?
Why do we have these lines?
Oh, now we're gonna get into just like personal issues of growing up.
No, I mean like socially, like as a society, because I know in a lot of circles for like filmmakers and whatnot right now, like people don't want to deal with anything that has a rape scene in it. Like they don't want to screen it. They don't want anything like that. And I'm like, for me though, I'm fine with making something like that. I don't have like, naturally, yes, I am absolutely against rape.
Of course.
But I'm not against showing it in film or writing about it in a novel or just depicting it in art in any form, because it happens and a lot of us need the catharsis to release that way.
I also believe too, and this is just my own personal belief, of as long as there is some sort of point or maybe even a redemption for the character, that I believe that it's okay to have it in a movie. Because if we're going back to even the exploitation days, I had brought up Cannibal Holocaust. Have you seen it or no?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, so yeah, the one thing in Cannibal Holocaust is just when they end up either raping the villagers and that, it's just because those are the characters those people are, and they would sink that low because they were already portrayed. It was leading to them being portrayed as that in the first place, of how awful their humanity is gone. So I think as long as there is a lead up to it, and you can actually see that in their character. And again, if you have, I want to say in my own belief, as long as there's some sort of, say, redemption or a point to it that you can discuss, to where it's not done out of the sake of, say, I know like a lot of movies growing up with had that male rape thing, which was played for comedy. But when it comes to today, again, it has to be done tastefully, or it has to be done in a way that is in tone with the rest of the movie. Like, for instance, there's a movie called, oh God, it was Uwe Boll, and it's Seed. It's this movie called Seed from 2007. Terrible fucking movie. But the first 5 minutes of the unrated cut, or no, not the first 5 minutes, but at least the first minute or two, there's a montage of serial killingness happening while they play the credits, and it's a baby seal being clubbed to death. There's like a famous clip of a baby seal being clubbed to death, and that's just in the movie for no reason. So if it's stuff like that, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, there's not even like a thesis for this movie. That's just a fucking bad movie. But yeah, if it's stuff like that, fuck them.
Yeah. Well, what about natural born killers? Like, they aren't redeemed. They're just mass murderers. But the entire message of the movie, which often gets mixed up with audiences and people who talk about it and whatnot. And I am pretty sure Henry here is talking about Natural Born Killers. And yes, I agree. It is one of the greatest films ever made. Zero hyperbole.
It truly is a really great movie.
Yes. But
you could be talking about Uwe Boll's Seed.
No, I think he might have been talking about Cannibal Holocaust, which the comment popped up right when you were talking about that.
Cannibal Holocaust is a really good movie.
I actually don't like it. But that's my taste.
Yeah. See, again, but I also said if it's not in my own personal belief of if there's some sort of redemption, it has to fit in line with the tone of the movie or the character. Which was what happened, especially because it's early Mickey's life.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, the line where I draw on like where I'm going to approve of a movie or whatever is live animal torture.
Yeah, I think that's why you don't like Cannibal Holocaust.
Indeed.
Yeah. I bet you there's a top 10 animal torture scenes. And it's probably by like Discovery.
I don't want to know.
Cujo. The dog from the Sandlot. Probably those horses that were on the John Wayne movie where he played Genghis Khan.
You mean like?
I'm joking and I'm yet also serious.
Or like fictionalized torture
on
movies, or like the stuff that happens behind the scenes on set?
It's probably both. I am half joking and half serious.
There's a lot of crap with animals, like.
Yeah, I know it's way better than what it was in the 20s. I remember, what was it? I think it was not Song of the South. The D.B. Cooper movie about like the Klan. I remember from what I remember hearing, they killed like a lot of horses on that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to bring the conversation down.
Anyway.
Hey, back to Woody Harrelson rape.
You're the one who picked the movie with the dog who's left in the past.
That's not the point of the movie.
I know, but it made me sad.
And then again, of all nights you text me when you watched it, it was during our bar crawl, so I just had to put LOL. I couldn't even be like, oh yeah, I should have told you about that. I remember like even being drunk and texting it, and I was like, ah.
Oh no, I just.
Oh, what happened?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
My screens. I don't have lights. I have monitors. Where were we initially about natural born killers?
We were talking about rape, and then it went to animal torturing.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's move on because we'll just do a segue here.
I had a point, but I don't. It would get way weirder, so we'll just go. We'll go.
I feel like half the time our conversations lose their point, and I think that's just how people talk. So I don't really care.
I like it because I think we bring up various different points. It's just we don't know how to end it and how to move on because it's such. I
think a lot of it is we're just like coming up with stuff on the spot, and we don't have like because we haven't thought about it before, maybe.
Yeah. But there's also like it's
Me and-
also not usually just me and you. There
Yeah,
should be some
yeah.
others in here. So
But at the same time, the entire point of these chats is not to like educate anyone. It's to just have a conversation about movies.
of course.
An intellectual conversation about movies that sometimes gets sidetracked.
I agree. Now let's talk about the
Non-intellectual-
pube in the mouth during the movie.
Oh, what scene was that?
Oh no, literally that happened right after the hotel scene. She's
No, I
She's,
remember. I was just. Oh yeah. Yeah, the murdered dude.
yeah.
I was trying to remember. I was trying to remember who had it in their mouth, and I was like,
No,
I
I
don't-
just
I was envisioning like a combination of different scenes from different movies with pubes in people's mouths. So now I'm starting like to think of a new top 10. It's like, let's do top 10 pubes and mouth scenes.
I didn't get that gross. Come on.
This is where I go. I try to.
You have
This is why I
experience.
try to keep us on track so I don't get lost.
Hey guys, this is Kino here, talking from experience with pubes and mouths. Let's go to number 10.
My experiences with pubes and mouths. Okay, that's totally different story.
God, what would there be? It'd be a lot of teen sex comedies, right? It'd be like American Pie. Natural Born Killers would be number 3, I'm sure.
I don't like teen sex comedies.
Oh boy.
Okay, I don't want to talk about them because I just don't like them. I think they're annoying. I didn't even like them when I was a teen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, these are stupid. They're so dumb.
So you're not a fan of Can't Hardly Wait,
Nope.
American Pie, any of the 15
Nope.
sequels?
Nope. Nope.
Fired Up is pretty hilarious.
I don't
That's a
even
good
know what
movie.
that is.
That's a good movie. I watch too many fucking movies.
I watch too many of a specific kind of movie and I just stay away from that genre.
Okay, what about?
I like it.
But like, if it wasn't for teens, we wouldn't have a lot of our victims for serial killers, or like Freddy, Jason. Who else?
That's different. That's
Is
a
it
teen
though?
sex horror.
Oh, so it has to have horror in front of it.
People have to die for me to like it.
Okay, what if it's not horror, but if it's suspenseful? Like,
I don't know.
say thriller. Because I bring it up because I
me
watched
neither.
that. Okay, so I watched that Russell Crowe movie that just came out where he's like this Texan who's like going after these people who cut him off in traffic. Unhinged. That movie is great. Like legit, he plays like this like guy who's just this Texan who's crazy as hell, and this woman cuts him off in traffic, and he starts off by going off on her, and she's in a pissy mood. But then he like ends up going and killing most of her family in that. It's so good. And you just root for Russell Crowe because everybody else is a terrible character. It's so good.
Okay, so now my question is, do we hate Texans or do we like them? Because we're always making Texas people like violent and mean.
I think it's a mix of both. One of my best buddies is from Texas, but a lot of the people I get cut off from have Texas license plates. So it's that mix. You see too many like Texas license plates up here, and they don't know how to fucking drive, and you just want to go and shoot them.
Don't say that.
You just want to go?
What?
Don't say that.
Yeah, don't talk about shooting people like you want to shoot people on my stream.
Oh, got you. Is it because of legal reasons?
Partially, yes.
Let's say I want to shoot a fictional character from Texas.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story about how I got banned from Twitter for 24 hours.
Okay.
So I was talking to somebody, and I don't even remember what the tweets were about, but I responded with something about like I was they were doing something and I was talking about I would defend that person if I saw what had happened to them, and I would punch the person that was abusing them or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that was basically my line of thinking. That was my tweet basically. Twitter kicked me off for talking about punching somebody
Oh boy.
for 24 hours. So I don't know what YouTube would do. But so yeah. So we're not talking about how we will. And that is
Man. Okay, so you don't get banned. I understand. I'll be quiet.
I already get flagged for copyright claims for having the trailers, so
Oh, God. There's just too much today. Like
there
I,
is
I,
a lot.
I get it, but man, yeah, I hear you. I go to this one site. I forget what it's called, but it's supposed to be public domain sounds, and the artist literally put their stuff on there and say, "You can use my stuff, just credit me." Or if you're gonna make money off of it, go to my website, buy a license. And then I use that in the actual appeals, and I still get flagged or I get copyright notices, and it just gets annoying.
Yep. It's just insanity.
Yeah.
This is the state of the media in 2021. But let's go back to the state of the media in 1994.
Okay.
So, how do you think things have changed between our portrayal in the media on like news stations and whatnot of mass murderers and the like since the 90s?
It hasn't really changed at all, to be honest. I just think that there's more wider of a net that they're casting, and then because we're in this, we have like such shorter attention spans than we did, or the media just wants to put put more of a focus out on these different individual sensationalized topics, that it kind of dilutes all of our attention towards different things.
It's interesting that you say that it hasn't changed, because I think it has changed a lot. Like I've noticed in the past few years, news stations are less likely to mention the names of the killers. There was even an Amazon serial killer that I didn't even know about until the other day when my husband told me about a YouTube video.
There was an Amazon serial killer?
Something like that, yeah.
Man.
Yeah, there's like, and I'm like, are we not interested in this anymore? Like as a society, that we're not being told about it? Are they covering it up? Or are we like just only focusing on the high score?
Ooh, that's a good point. I want to say depends on the city. High score when it comes to smaller towns that are not major markets. Because if there was some sort of murder that happened in, say, where I'm at in Colorado, like somewhere south of me, like Greeley or something like that, or Greeley's up north. What the hell am I talking about? If there was like a killer in there and they killed one or two people in that would kind of make the news. It would just be like maybe 10, 15-second clip, especially if they caught the guy. Over there, that town would be way more prevalent. But if we say had in that town some guy came up and shot up 30 people, that for sure would not only go to local, but that would go national, I believe. It just happened in at King Soopers last year in Boulder, which is, that store was not even like 30 minutes away, and I remember going there every day, and some guy just went in there and started just shooting people.
Yeah, what is it with Colorado and mass shooters?
I don't know. I guess people are bored. You got me, bro.
Because like I'm just like, why are they always coming from there?
That's one of the points I was going to bring up, was just if you think about how some of our, if we're talking in a national sense, from the 90s around that time with OJ. And then we start to fast forward a bit in the late 90s. I think we had like the Menendez brothers. And then if you want to go a little bit more, it was more to what was going on with 2001, Bin Laden, back to '08 of James Holmes, which happened to be over here. By the way, we were going to go to that theater, but it was sold out that night. So we ended up going to a different theater. And then
Wow.
fast forward a few more years, I'm trying to think. There had to have been some killers that I'm not thinking of from like that 2009 to now period that have been national media. But for sure,
Well,
I think it's just like I said. There's just been more of a spotlight on all these different things that it's sort of diluting that attention that we would have on a big as case as OJ was back in the 90s.
but even Columbine was
Columbine, yeah, forgot about that.
like, y'all are
God, you're
breeding
right.
them
Colorado
again.
does have a shit ton of
Yeah, like
yeah.
every single. I wonder though, like, I mean, we have shootings here in Washington. We have serial killers too, but it's like we don't have as much news coverage of like huge things like that.
Yeah.
Like somebody in my building was stabbed like after one of these streams that we did, and that did kind of make national news, but that was really weird.
Yeah, that wow. I from my own personal experience, and this is gonna sound weird, but I've always felt like here in Colorado, on my side of the town where I'm at, it's been to the east of the Rockies near Denver,
Hmm.
and it's also felt like there's no way to really go. Um, and just to kind of explain more, like if you're in New York or say a little more out west, you can travel to all these sort of different cities. Whereas with Denver, it's either going to take you a lot more physical effort, and on top of that, there's you really need a car to kind of just get around to like another big city. Otherwise, it's like a list of all these different small cities in between all of the sort of major markets that are here. And it's become like, why would I go anywhere else when I can clean up where I'm at right now? That's the only thing I could think of.
So they shoot people in their hometown because wait, I'm trying to
That's kind of what I can think of.
because they don't leave.
I could see that, yeah. That's because I've always felt like here during times that I've felt really depressed, really sad.
Hmm.
It's felt like I always felt like I was trapped. And then being in Colorado, that feeling has always kept the same. Because, like I was saying, if you go, like even if I were to go out west,
Hmm.
I know that it's just all I could see are the Rocky Mountains, so I'd still have to like cross mountains. If I were to go east, I know it's Kansas, so there's not much that way. Same with north because it's Wyoming, and there's nobody in fucking Wyoming. You go south, it's New Mexico, and it's more of that kind of like dirt town. And just this has been kind of like this middle hub for me of feeling like sometimes it's just very just trapped.
Interesting. That kind of brings me back to that theory of freedom with like through the killing and stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder like if that is the driving force behind a lot of like feeling trapped because like even when I've been at my most depressed, like I was also feeling super trapped and stuck.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like I had anywhere to go. Like even if I was somewhere where I could get somewhere, I still felt like either trapped like in my own mind, like or just in my situation.
Yeah.
And it was just always so trapped. But then like also when you think about it, Mallory's character, she's pretty trapped with her family because they're abusive and all that stuff. And then Mickey comes along and he just opens up a whole new world, even though it's like it's a different kind of violence, but it's still violence, but it's like it's a more freeing violence, which is weird. And I don't even know how to talk about it without maybe being offensive.
Just say it.
I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm just like,
Killing Indians? Is that what you're gonna say?
no, I wasn't talking about killing Indians. I don't even like. I mean, I like the scene. I like the purpose of that scene and all that stuff. But when I talk about this movie, that's not even the scene that I think of.
What's the scene you think of?
I think it's the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I think of like, are you flirting with me? Or like, occasionally I'll start random, like, okay, actually, a few years ago I was saying something over and over and over again, and I couldn't figure out why or what it was from. And then Chris was like, "It's Natural Born Killers, you dork." Because I was like, I was saying Batanga, 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 Batangaville. It just got stuck in my head. And I was like, why am I saying that? He's like,
The one that got stuck in my head is Rodney Dangerfield just telling her to go wash up. He's like, I want you to go and take a shower. You know, nice and washed up. And it's like, that's stuck in my head so much.
he was the absolute grossest character in this whole movie to me.
Played it perfectly.
Absolutely disgusting. Okay, so back to about like the whole media stuff, and we haven't this is like such a huge part of the movie. I'm surprised we haven't even mentioned it yet. But all of the editing, the stock footage, and all of that stuff, it's all about like information overload. There's like it's just in your face, like even the style of editing with like quick clips and cuts and just like everything, which is how sometimes you miss something. Like I missed maybe a rape scene.
Of course.
And there's just so much at all times.
Oh yeah.
Like, and there's like stuff going on in the background. Then it's just constant music. Like Chris was even saying, is like, is this a musical? Like, could that count as a musical? Because it's just always music. They do sing occasionally.
Yeah. That's a good point.
The
soundtrack
is actually like a huge driving force for us. Like we really like the soundtrack.
The soundtrack is really good. I especially from like Rage Against the Machine just like popping up, and that I wanted to bring that up too, and how like that's the weirdness of the movie of being so inspirational at times. It kind of reminded me of again, later movie, which I know probably inspired it in that, but this movie called Limitless with Bradley Cooper. I don't know if you've seen it.
I think so.
There is a part in the movie where he actually like, so it's this pill that like it unlocks 100% of your brain and he starts becoming amazing. Yeah. So he pops it, and then in a montage, he starts like cleaning up his life in that. And in that part, it was kind of inspirational, and it really kind of reminded me of that kind of that flow of the scene and just like falling in love with everything of just like, wow, this is possible.
Which scene are you talking about? Like in Natural Born Killers? Or are you just talking about the entire movie?
Just that sort of entire feeling of when Mickey gets the gun after his interview. He tells the joke about little Johnny, gets the gun, and then they play Rage Against the Machine, and he's just shooting everybody, and he's trying to break free. It's that scene. Yeah, it's that interpersonal freedom that we were talking about.
Yeah,
I know for me, I've never felt what you have. I think I might have like felt the freedom of characters killing characters when I was like first watching movies, or maybe didn't talk about them as art, because it is getting that rage out. And in my own view, I've always connected with a lot of music, and just it never was the sometimes it was the action, but I think it's more like the words and the actual rage, which, oh wow, what's going on there?
I went to Back to the Darkness. Sorry.
Which I think that's where I connect with like a lot of sports or superhero movies and bunch of action movies and everything.
Interesting. The music, though, is like, if it wasn't there,
Mhm.
and if the editing wasn't there, and if the entire movie was more serious, less hyper realistic, and I don't know if that might not even be the right word, but it's like,
No, I think you're right.
if it's not as ludicrous, I guess. Like, I mean, a lot of it is pretty realistic because of the way things are, but they also like go over the top with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, if it wasn't like that and it was more serious and didn't have the music, I don't think I would feel as free. I think I would feel tension and I would probably barf watching that movie. Not like really, because nothing makes me barf.
Not even the old fingers?
Fingers?
Fingers down the throat? That doesn't make you barf?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Go on, nope.
I was practicing sword swallowing. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That's for the freaks conversation that we talked about a long time ago.
I
But anyway.
thought it was retractable in some cases.
Some magicians, yes, but sideshow, no. But anyway, so I don't think like I think I would have a totally different feeling for watching it. Like I don't think I would admire anybody in it. I don't think it, like, I think I would still love it, but I don't think it would be the same thing, because I feel like it came to me the movie itself came to me at a dark period in my life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was also a good period in my life because I started dating Chris. But it's like, and just watching it just inspired me so much in filmmaking and all of that stuff just because of the style.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like if that style and all of that stuff wasn't there, it wouldn't be the same for me. Like, I wouldn't feel that freedom or like anything. I wouldn't feel for those characters the way I do. It's just, I would think they were just disgusting.
That's a valid point, because the way that, and I'm glad you brought this up, because the way that the film, first time I watched this, like we've talked about this, but there's so much to it that I was trying to pay attention to one part, but then something else caught my grasp, and then I lost this. And so this is like my third or fourth time watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, absolutely love it. The main way I can kind of prove that too is just how, as soon as we're off Mickey and Mallory, that style kind of disappears a bit. And those characters right there are very slimy and gross and just everything that you want to forget. And in some cases, you actually kind of do.
Yeah.
And it's so pitch perfect. And the main thing I love is just how it seems like it's from the point of view of them, how it would be sort of this engrossed in pop culture. Because I know growing up, in my case with my mom and everything, like I watched a ton of movies, and every time like I think in any sort of memory or I think ahead to things, it always comes in this sort of movie-like structure, or this has a pop culture feel to something that's always been influenced by it. And, you can contribute that to what environments that those characters grew up in, but it was just so pitch perfect how they did that, and how even the darkest of stuff in this film was still got through, but yet it was still done in that pop culture sense of when we find out that Mallory's brother is her son. And and it's done with like I Love Lucy stuff. It's the most insane thing, but yeah, if you were in the shoes of those characters, that's how you'd see everything. it would just be this whole trip of things, and especially if they're being in a way reborn or born for the first time, it's just an assault on the senses for everything. And you would have to get, if you were that free, there would be no point to where you would bring in something that would be negative in anything. You would kill to keep that out. So I love this movie for doing that. And even at the end, when it shows them with their kids, they still have all that stuff going on, but it's people that are on their level now, and who knows if they're going to go down the same hole that their parents did, because a lot of the times that happens. Maybe they'll change. You just kind of don't know.
Okay, and then on that note, this is our hour mark, and there's so much more to talk about with this movie. Maybe we'll do another one. There's so much more that I would have liked to cover, but we just don't have the time, and yeah. But
I understand.
Last question.
Okay, I did want to bring up something too, but go ahead.
Does the movie glorify violence?
Ooh. It depends on the person watching it, I believe. I know that feels like a cop-out answer. I get that. I think if you are not mature enough to understand the themes that the film goes with, then for sure, in that point of view, I can see where people would come off saying that it glorified violence. But yet, if you're mature enough to handle the insanity of everything that happens, I don't believe it does, and it's more just sort of a point of reference, not only to those characters, but also a lot of stuff within our society.
And that, my friends, is why the MPAA exists.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel pretty much the same way. It's like I really feel like we need more media literacy classes in like elementary school.
Yes.
In addition to like your reading, math, science, etc. Just because media literacy is so important in our society. But at the same time, our system as it stands right now is designing people to not think for themselves or to not understand. And our society is trying to build people into being the same and robots and to just go with the flow of 5 people.
I agree with that.
Anyway, what was your last thought?
Oh, okay. So from the comic book Wanted, which I actually recently bought, there's a part in here that reminded me of the movie where one of the characters says, it's kind of halfway through, so it's like, you really think we just go around fucking shit up all the time? This is a global business, man. We got our fingers in a little piece of everything, and that means you got to be disciplined. You don't have time to rape, kill, and mutilate people all the time, baby. Your dad wasn't trying to turn you into the biggest sociopath that ever walked the earth. He just wanted you to do what you really wanted with your life. And sometimes that means watching TV in bed all day long, and other times it's murdering some fucker. The whole point of this exercise was to bring a little choice into that sad, pathetic thing you used to call your life. And I think that kind of encapsulates quite a bit of the movie, is just maybe it comes to choice.
That's a very good final note. But the last thing I am going
recommended.
to say, I want to read that now. I am going to throw in this little thing. Go.
We won't kill people. Well, I can't promise that.
Aside from that, so that is our take on natural born killers. And next month, we are doing in September September 26th,
Yeah, what did you change it to?
we are watching and talking about my most favorite film of all time, American Psycho, directed by Mary Herron.
You didn't change the director, so it says directed by Carol Blandard, who
You know what?
who did Black Stallion.
I was in the middle of typing it when I started the stream, and then I stopped because I was talking about the stream. So nobody else in this who's watching this actually sees that page. So shut up.
That's the first time I've heard you kind of go off a bit. That was awesome.
That's because you don't spend enough time with me.
That's what I want, though. I want more of that from Kino. Like, I feel like your personality's coming out. Like,
Oh, I've got
if you
a lot of
watch this,
personality.
like if you watch this from like month one, I feel like the people who actually do watch this, like, they see you like actually really growing. Not even joking.
I don't think I'm growing. I think I'm just not caring anymore.
Not
This is-
physically growing, but mentally growing in your personality and everything. Maybe
That's
you've
just my
grown.
personality. I think part of it is like this is how I am on stage. Probably. I don't.
This
know.
is great, though. This is the Kino I want. This is genuine.
So you want Kino be demented. You don't want the me who's like, I'm a little mouse.
I
That's
I
not
don't
me,
mind
really.
that as long as she's like, I want to kill this person, and then be like, I get that.
That's my old character, Hannibal.
Oh yeah, I forgot about yeah.
We'll
I
talk
didn't-
about the progression of my stage persona eventually. Anyway, this is. I don't want to talk about myself anymore. It's gonna be weird if I keep going. It is an hour and 7 minutes. We are done. I will see you in the studio. And wait, oh, hold on. I gotta do the thing.
By the way, great news. OnlyFans has reinstated pornography. You can catch me on there soon, baby. I deleted my account and then I'll reactivate soon.
Are you doing porn?
No, I actually did have OnlyFans where I did nothing but stern looks. It was just me sternly looking at the camera.
That's pretty funny. Okay, anyway. Thank you to our patrons. Bing!
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, patrons. Oh, and bye.